Houston Sports Up back in the video today. Today, the Chicago Bulls have signed Javonte Green to a rest of the season contract, as Javonte Green has played 3 games for the Bulls this season. After we saw Javonte Green spend a total of 2.5 seasons with the Chicago Bulls before this 3-game stint, which has led to him getting a rest of the season contract. Which, look, I know we've seen rest of the season contracts, been signed for a couple weeks now, but look, the rest of the season contract doesn't really mean much to me, at least now, because there's 6 games left in the season. I mean, you could have signed him. You could sign, most likely. Let me see if my numbers are right. Yeah, you could have signed him to another 10-day contract and still would have equaled to the time of the rest of the season. It would have been the day after the NBA season ends. But although, getting a rest of the season contract is definitely a lot better than getting a second 10-day contract. And Javonte Green has definitely played well enough to get a rest of the season contract, even though there's only 6 games left in the season. They're fighting to. I think most likely they are going to make the play-in, but they are fighting to make it into the play-in as the 10 seed, I believe, still. They're the 9 seed, and they're locked in, so they can't get out of that 9 seed. So most likely, unless there are any changes, now it is kind of close with the Hawks, but they are going to be most likely going to be hosting the Atlanta Hawks in the play-in game against the Hawks. In the 9-10 play-in game. Now, what I am going to say is that these two teams are really close with each other, and because you have at 10 you have the Hawks, who are 36-41, and then at 9 you have the Bulls, who are 36-40. So these next 6 games for the Bulls definitely are important, because they need to stay at that 9 spot so they can host the Hawks instead of having to go to Atlanta to potentially try to win a game to stay in the chances to be in the playoffs. Because definitely have a lot better chances of beating the Hawks if you're in Chicago than you are on the road in Atlanta. And then you would face whoever, if let's say it's the Heat and the 76ers, who are the 7-8 game. Let's say the loser of the 76ers Heat game, I would think it'd probably be the Heat. Then we would potentially see another Heat versus Bulls play-in fight for the 8th seed. And, that would be really fun to watch those two teams go at it after what we saw last season, how close of a game it was between those two teams to fight to get into playoffs. But definitely I think would be a disappointment for the Heat if they missed the playoffs. But the Bulls, like I said, they have a decent chance to make the playoffs. They have to stay in at that 9 seed. They have to take down the Hawks, and then they have to take down whoever loses the 7-8 game. So you just got to stay in the 9 seed and win 2 games, and you're in the playoffs. But you have to face a very hard team in the 1-seeded Boston Celtics. Javonte Green, although, has averaged 5 points with 4 rebounds per game in his 3 games, averaging 17 minutes per game for the Bulls. Last season with the Bulls, he played 32 games in 1 start, averaging 15 minutes per game with 5.2 points per game. The 21-22 season, he averaged 7.2 points per game, 4 rebounds per game. He shot really well from 3, averaging 36% from 3. Now this season, only on 1.7 3-point attempts, shooting 60% in the 3 games. So he is playing really well, and definitely could be a decent piece in the next couple games, next 6 games, and then potentially getting into the play-in. Let me know your thoughts on the signing in the comment section, and peace out.